Classical Liberal Arts Academy's Petty School Reading Program. In this lesson, we'll continue our study of English reading. Remember, there is no way to become a good English reader or speller except by practice, practice, and more practice. There is no way to become a good English reader or speller except by practice, practice, and more practice. We've learned that there are 26 letters in the English alphabet. We've studied these letters in past lessons, and if you still have a hard time remembering their names, you should go back and review your old lessons before continuing in this lesson. We learned that of the 26 English letters, 5 are vowels. The 5 vowels are A, E, I, O, and U. So far, in Petty School Reading, we've studied the English vowels A, E, and I. In this lesson, we're going to study the vowel O. We also learned that every letter that is not a vowel is a consonant. On this screen, all the letters in yellow boxes are vowels. The letters in blue boxes are consonants. In English, there are 5 vowels and 21 consonants. In this lesson, we're going to study the English vowel O. You can see the vowel written on your screen. In English, the vowel O is used to make 8 different sounds. The vowel O in English is read with 8 different sounds. The first sound made by the English vowel O is the classical sound O. In English, we call this long O. If you look at the word on your screen, you can see the letter O at the end of the word. When the letter O is found at the end of a word, it is always read with the sound O. We call this final O. Let's read this word together. It's very simple. No, no, no. This is an example of the final O. In this word, you see the vowel O in red, followed by a silent E. In English, when the vowel O is followed by a silent E, it is read with the classical sound O. Let's read this word together. Bone, bone, bone. Anytime the English letter O is followed by a silent E, it is read with the long classical sound O. In this word, you see the vowel O written in red, followed by a single consonant sound. When the English vowel O is followed by a single consonant sound, it is usually read with the sound O. Let's read this word together. Holy, holy, holy. When the vowel O comes before a single consonant sound, it is usually read with the sound O. The second sound made by the English vowel O is what we call the short O sound. The short O is pronounced ah, ah. In this word, you can see the vowel O before a final consonant sound. When the O is found before a final consonant sound, it is normally read with the sound of the short O, ah. Let's read this word together. God, God, God. This is an example of the short English O. In this word, you can see the vowel O followed by a doubled consonant, LL. When the vowel O comes before a doubled consonant, it is usually read with the sound ah, the short O sound. Let's read this word together. Holly, holly, holly. When the vowel O comes before a double consonant, it is usually read with the sound of the short O, ah, ah. The third sound made by the English letter O is the sound of the schwa, uh. The words that use the vowel O in this way simply need to be memorized. There are a few popular words that have the pronunciation uh. Let's read this word together. Sun, sun, sun. Did you hear the sound of the schwa? Sun. This is the third sound made by the English vowel O. In some words, the vowel O makes the sound aw, aw. We call this the rounded O, aw, aw. You will simply have to learn which words use the rounded O by practice. Let's read this word together. Off, off, off. This is an example of the rounded O, aw, aw. Let's review the sounds we've learned so far for the English vowel O by reading a few words. Looking at this word, you should notice that it has the vowel O at the end. We learned that any time we see the vowel O at the end of a word, we should read it with the classical sound, O. Let's read this word together. Go, go, go. The final O is always read with the sound O, O. We learned that the vowel O is read with the long O sound when it is followed by a silent E. In this word, you can see the vowel O followed by a silent E. Let's read this word together. Hope, hope, hope. When the vowel O is followed by a silent E, it is read with the sound O. What do you notice when you look at this word? The first thing you should notice is that it has a silent E at the end, and that silent E follows the vowel O. How should we read this word? We know that any time the vowel O is followed by a short E, it makes the sound O. Let's read this word together. Rome, Rome, Rome. We learned that when the vowel O is followed by a single consonant sound, it is usually read with the long O sound, O. If you look at this word, you can see the vowel O followed by a single consonant sound. Let's read this word together. Pony, pony, pony. When the vowel O is followed by a single consonant sound, it usually is read with the long O sound. O. Let's try a big fun word. If you look at this word, you can see the vowel O is followed by a single consonant sound. That means that vowel O will be read with the long O sound. O. If we used classical pronunciation to read this word, we would read ma, ka, ro, ni. Did you ever hear of macaroni? Maybe you've heard of macaroni, macaroni. This is the word macaroni. You can see that the vowel O is followed by a single consonant sound and makes the long O sound. O. If you look at this word, you can see the vowel O followed by a final consonant sound. The vowel O is followed by the final consonant sound of the letter T. T, t. How should we read this word? We learned that when the vowel O is followed by a final consonant sound, it is read with the short O sound. Ah, ah. Let's read this word together. Hot, hot, hot. When the vowel O comes before a final consonant sound, it is read with the sound ah. What do you notice about this word? You should see that the vowel O is followed by a final consonant sound, the sound of the consonant G, which is G, G. How should we read this word? We learned that any time the vowel O is followed by a final consonant sound, it's read with the short O sound. Ah, ah. Let's read this word together. Log, log, log. In this word, we see the vowel O followed by a doubled consonant. How should we read this vowel O? We learned that when the vowel O is followed by a doubled consonant, it should be read with the short O sound. Ah. Let's read this word together. Dollar, dollar, dollar. When the letter O is followed by a doubled consonant sound, it is read with the short O sound. Ah, ah, dollar. This is a word that no matter how much you study English sounds, you will not read it correctly unless you simply know the word. You could read this with a classical O sound, and it would sound like mother, mother, but that would be wrong. You could read it with a short O sound and read mother, mother, and that would be wrong. This is an example of a word that has a vowel O that makes the sound of the schwa, uh. We read this word as mother, mother. This is an example of the sound schwa in memorized words. There's no way that you can read these words rightly unless you simply know them from your spoken words. Mother, mother. Here's another word that you will only read rightly if you know it as a spoken word. You could try to read it with a long O sound and say, lost, lost, but you would be wrong. You could read it with a short O sound and say, last, last, but you would be wrong again. This is a word that is read with a rounded O sound. Aw, aw. Here's another example of a word with an O that makes the rounded O sound. If you read this as frost, frost, you would be wrong. If you read it as frost, frost, you would be wrong. The correct reading of this word is frost, frost. Hear the rounded O sound, aw, aw, frost. If you find it hard to read English words, don't get discouraged. It is a difficult language to read, but you have the rest of your life to master reading English. Remember, there are many words in English whose spelling does not match their sounds. There are many words in English whose spelling does not match their sounds. If you make a mistake reading these words or spelling these words, that's okay. Many of the words aren't spelled or read the way it looks like they should be spelled or read. That's just one of the things that makes English a difficult language to learn. So don't be discouraged. Keep practicing, and you'll find that as you grow up, you'll be able to read and spell all the words perfectly. Just practice, practice, practice. Now let's take some time to study the digraphs that use the English vowel O. Remember, digraphs are a pair of letters that make one sound. Digraphs are two letters that make one sound together. Let's study the digraphs that make use of the English vowel O. The first digraph we'll need to look at is the digraph OA. Here you can see that the digraph OA makes the first sound that we studied for the English vowel O. That was the sound O, O. The digraph OA normally makes the sound O. Let's read this word together. Oak, oak, oak. In some words, the English digraph OA makes the sound of the rounded O. Aw, aw, aw. Let's read this word together. Or, or, or. The second English digraph that uses the vowel O is the digraph OE. This digraph should be treated as the vowel O followed by a silent E. it makes the sound O, O. Let's read this word together. Do, do, do. The next digraph that uses the English letter O is the digraph O-I. This digraph is read as a diphthong. That means that there are two sounds read as one syllable. What we do with the diphthong O-I is read the sounds O and E together very quickly. Oi, oi, oi. Let's read this word together. Oil, oil, oil. Do you hear the diphthong? O-E, oi, oi, oil, oil. The next digraph in English that uses the vowel O is the double O. The first sound made by the double O is the long OO sound. This is the sixth sound made by the vowel O. OO, OO. Let's read this word together. Food, food, food. The double O can also make a short OO sound. We saw that in the word food, the digraph OO made a long OO sound. Here, we'll find that it makes a short OO sound. Let's read this word together. Good, good, good. The double O can make a long OO sound, OO, or a short OO sound, Next is the digraph OU, and this digraph is treated like a diphthong. We read the sounds of the first two letters together quickly, so that it makes the sound of one syllable. We start with the short O sound, ah, and add the sound oo of the letter U. It sounds like this: out, 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 out. You can hear how the two vowel sounds join together. Out, out, out. The digraph OU can also be read as a normal digraph, as just one sound made by two letters. Here, the digraph OU makes the sound OO, OO. Let's read this word together. Soup, soup, soup. The digraph OU can make the sound OO. Next, we find the digraph OW. This is read with the sound ow, ow, ow. Let's read this word together. Cow, cow, cow. This is the first sound made by the digraph OW. Ow, ow. The second sound made by the digraph OW is the sound O, O. Let's read this word together. So, so, so. The digraph OW can make the sounds ow or O. Next is the digraph OY. This digraph makes the same sound as the digraph OI. Oi, oi, oi. Let's read this word together. Joy, joy, joy. We should also remember that when words end in I-O-N, the letters I and O form a digraph that is pronounced with the schwa sound, uh. This word is read as mission, 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 the digraph I-O. Now that we've studied the normal sounds made by the vowel O in English, let's look at some irregular words. We learned that when the vowel O is followed by a silent E, that the vowel O makes the sound O, O. In this word, the vowel O is followed by a silent E. But the vowel O does not make the sound O. This word is read as come, come, come. The vowel O here makes the sound and this is irregular. We learned that when the vowel O is followed by a single consonant sound, it usually makes the sound O, O. In this word, the vowel O is followed by a single consonant sound, but it does not make the sound O. It makes the irregular sound Let's read this word together. Woman, woman, woman. This is an irregular word. Again, we learned that the vowel O, followed by a single consonant sound, usually makes the sound O. But this is another irregular word. In this word, the vowel O makes the sound I. This word is read as women, women, women. The vowel O here makes the sound I, and that is irregular. We learned that the digraph OE normally makes the sound O. In this word, the vowel O is followed by E, but the letters are not read as O. They are read as OO. This word is read as shoe, shoe, and this is irregular. We learned that the digraph OE is normally read with the sound O. We could read this word as doze, doze. But this word can also be read as does, does. In that word, the digraph OE makes the sound but this is irregular. We learned that the digraph OU normally makes one of two different sounds. It normally makes the sounds ow and ooh. In this word, the digraph OU makes the sound O, and that's irregular. This word is read as soul, soul. This is irregular. Now, I'd like to show you one of the most confusing sets of letters in all of English. These 4 letters will always confuse you. There's no easy way to know how to read them unless you know the spoken word you're reading. These letters are O, U, G, H. The letters O, U, G, H can be read in many different ways in English, and these can be very confusing. Let me show you some words that have the letters O, U, G, H. Get ready, because these words are very weird. In this first word, the letters O, U, G, H are all read as one sound, the long O sound, O, O. This word is read as do, do, do. O, U, G, H make the sound O, O. In this word, the letters O, U, G, H make a different sound. In this word, they make the sound ow, ow. This word is read as plow, plow, plow. Here, O, U, G, H make the sound ow, ow. In this word, the letters O, U, G, H make a totally different sound. The vowels O and U are read as aw, and the consonants G and H are read as f. When we put them together, they make the sound off, off. This word would be read as cough, cough, cough. You can see that these letters O, U, G, and H make very strange sounds in English. Here you can see another word with the letters O, U, G, H. And guess what? It's read with a totally different sound. In this word, the vowels O and U are read with the sound The consonants G and H are read with the sound f, f. This word would be read as tough, tough. It would not be read as toe. It would not be read as toff. It would be read as tough, tough. Let's look at one more word that has the letters O, U, G, and H. And guess what? It's read with a different sound than the other words. In this word, the letters O, U, G, and H are read with the sound aw, aw. This word is read as thought, thought, thought. Now, if you're starting to get confused and frustrated by all of these crazy sounds, remember, there are many words in English whose spelling does not match their sounds. There are many words in English whose spelling does not match their sounds. If you have a hard time reading these words, don't think you're the one that's crazy. It's these English words that are crazy, and it takes a lot of practice to read and spell them perfectly. So be patient and practice reading and spelling correctly. But you must make sure that you never guess at the spelling of words. Never guess at the spelling of words. Don't be lazy. Look the words up or ask someone for help. To help us remember the different sounds made by the letter O in English, it's good if we can memorize these 19 words. These words show us the different sounds made by the English letter O. There are 19 words in this list. Let's read them together. No, bone, holy, God, holly, sun, off, oak, or, dough, oil, food, good, out, soup, cow, sow, joy, and mission. And don't forget, there are many irregulars. Now, you should sit down with your mother or father or an older brother or sister who is good at reading and practice reading the Lord's Prayer or any other English reading. Find all the English letter O's in the reading and think about how they are read. You can start here on this screen with the Lord's Prayer. All of the O's are written in red for you to help you find them. I hope that you've enjoyed this lesson in the Classical Liberal Arts Academy's Petty School Reading Program. For more resources from the Classical Liberal Arts Academy, visit us online at classicalliberalarts.com. God bless you.